open the eyes.
All my life I've been talking from my head, and here I'm learning as I'm expanding my consciousness and going in how to speak my truth from my heart. How do I know when I'm speaking from my heart and when it's coming from my head?
You know, we can have very developed spiritual egos, and that comes from our head. It's like a knowledge of what I should say, what I should do, how I should be, like what's appropriate. I'm not using that context as a negative thing. It's like a nice person's way of being. Okay, but the thing is, on some level, we're always talking to diplomatically protect ourselves and not to create problems. Okay, so that person is one of your masks. It comes from your intellect, maybe it comes from all the spiritual stuff you've read, what you believe, you know, etc., etc., etc. Your heart is innocent, like a child. The first thing that comes, that spontaneity, that is your truth. And it comes from that place. But it has an energy. It has an absolute energy. You know, people can talk from their heads. Highly intellectual people with an incredible vocabulary that can baffle anyone and sound beyond omniscient, but there's no energy. Because the heart connects. It connects with everything and everyone. Because that's how we connect. And it's always very simple and very innocent. Consciousness isn't complex. It's simple. It's love. Connection. You'll know.
Each day I feel more empowered, more sure of myself, more trusting. Like really taking the reins of my life. And I feel I want more. And I would like to hear what you can say about that, to expand all what I already have.
You know, the thing is, the more you unify, the more you grow. The more you speak the truth, the more you grow. The more you witness, the more you grow. The more you enjoy, the more you grow. It's about loving yourself internally and loving yourself in action. How do I love myself in action? By being present, always present, and with that focus and letting go. Seeing, where can I let go? Where can I be more love? Where can I push my limits? But from a place of abundance, not from a place of trying to win a race. Yeah, so that's how you keep growing. Depends on how big you want to get. And then at the one point you have to let go of everything. But work towards that. There's no rush.
How to identify the good love. I don't know if created the good love, identify identify and not how to run away from that, no?
Did you watch that movie Lucky? It was good, no? I sent that movie. And I think it was a perfect indication. Because it was teaching us how the negative makes us grow. So it's not really negative. It's positive. And always the two have to live together. The supreme love comes from self. And it embraces everything in every moment. It doesn't have a judgment that something's good and something's bad. It just is. It's that permanent mix. So it's about surrendering. If you're talking about romantic love and you have a pattern and a type that goes to jail or gets killed or, that sort of thing, you have to identify. I'm saying that because that's what happened, huh? You have to be able to see that and make a choice in the moment. Because the attraction doesn't change. We have an attraction to something that brings us the opposite to what we want. And in one moment, you see it clearly. Clearly you see it. But then you make excuses and going into the saving mode or the changing mode. And you do it. And it creates attachment and suffering. It's not both based in growth. It's not based in unity. So these things you have to be able to see and create what you want in your life. It's great to be with a partner if that's what you want. But you have to create something that's inspiring, not something that's pulling you down. Unless you're so big that nothing can pull you down.
Can you tell me how to overcome, from your experience, the physical pain in consciousness?
When people have a lot of pain, all they can do is expand consciousness and take it beyond the pain. And it's not easy, but people can do it. People can do it. Because when we start to vibrate in a high frequency, it starts to diminish. Because the love's very strong, no? And it's very joyful. And it starts to sustain you. That's why I say to the students, if you have any pain anywhere, put your attention there. Put your love there. And focus on what you want. It's so important to choose for that. It's very easy to fall into the drama of suffering. And lots of people identify with pain or sickness as a way of receiving love. We learn that as children. When something happens, we have mummy and daddy's attention. And then some people I'm not saying the person you're talking about, continue to do that. Because that's how they get attention. That's how they feel loved. And it becomes an addiction that creates more and more problems.
I had an experience years ago where I was sleeping with my husband and he ended in a stroke, in a heart stroke. In that moment, I was feeling my heart here, like now. But I was able to wake him up again, to bring him back again, to animate him, and to do everything from in a calm way to be able to take him to the hospital. So my question is, what happens in those cases where we have a knowledge that I didn't have? I didn't know how to. And he's here.
Living proof. It's an incredible thing, no? We have so much omniscience, so much wisdom, and we just have to tap into it. And it's like our strength. When we're in the middle of an emergency, we have incredible physical strength too. And we have a natural capacity to connect and know what to do. And it comes from our wisdom. It comes from our internal. Yeah. And you're very connected, obviously. Yeah, it's just that. You'd be surprised what you know once you connect. And when you connect deeply, you don't experience separation anywhere. You can know what's happening anywhere. Good.
What is the ego? I want to know in reality what it is. Because I have a concept, but it's not clear.
So we think that the ego's false pride, no? It's like narcissism. Oh, he's got a big ego. You know, he thinks he's great, and that's a very small aspect. Because the ego is our personality. And what happens? It's something that we created to protect ourselves and to receive love. And it's full of masks, full of ideas. It might be a voice that puts you down or a voice that pulls you up. It's always a voice that's critical, comparing, in duality, full of ideas and judgments. So it's our personalities. And as we start to mature in consciousness, we start to witness that and we start to change it. We start to change. And we start to see what's ours, what serves, and what's our grandmother's or our great-grandmother's or the Pope or the President or the school teacher. We start to see who we are. And then our true essence comes to the surface. So it's about emotional maturity, which comes from unconditional love, finding ourselves. So it's not as what people think it is, really. Oh, and it's also the separation. Ego is I. I am. And consciousness is I am that. There's that is all one. And it needs no protection. Good.
Can you talk about the fear and how to move through or how to dilute it?
The only way to dissolve fear is through the expansion of love consciousness. Because fear is love. It's all the same thing, but it's a different vibration. Fear is a very slow vibration, but the nature of love And the nature of energy is it's always moving towards the higher frequency. This is why we have the facets. Now, these facets provoke the expansion of consciousness. So the fears will come, but they'll start to dissolve. So how do I make my fear dissolve? Well, I have to walk towards it. Okay, you walk towards separation, you speak the truth, you take off your masks, you be vulnerable, you take responsibility, and this becomes a force that pushes you forward. That's the consciousness. And bit by bit the fear starts to diminish.
How we complement this psychology with the system?
Well, it's cheaper to talk to the teachers. And there's more. If you don't like the answer of one, you can ring the other 10. Yeah. You know, there's lots of psychologists in this room that do the system. Why do they do the system? To know themselves better, to expand consciousness, to evolve, and to probably be better psychologists. Yeah. I can't tell you what to do. You have to decide. But at some point, you have to see everything for yourself. And you have to decide what's the quickest way to do that. Because I feel this is the quickest way to see everything. To expand consciousness. Because you can talk a lot, but you need to move it. And I know a lot of psychologists work with that too. You know, I don't want to sound like an Isha fanatic, but obviously I think this is incredible. But you can see your psychologist as well if you want. But don't stop unifying. There's no problem. Oh, that was the word. Yeah.
And now I live with that fear that in any moment somebody of my family can happen exactly the same. Or even to me, no? A fear that is very deep of death.
Okay. So you have to get beyond that. So this is a good gift. You know, you have to see your fear. And you have to go deeper. So how do I go deeper into that? First, I have to find out who I am. And that's my true essence. And I have to live my life with passion to the fullest. In each moment. As if you're about to die. You know, people postpone life because they think they have eternity. But you've had an experience that tells you that's not true. So instead of being afraid, use it as a reason to really give your best, enjoy each moment, and expand your consciousness, because it's not about the length of our lives. It's about the quality of the life. What am I doing? What am I giving? Look at Jesus. He lived 33 years and he impacted all of humanity. You know, but do you know, that's a rather extreme example. But you know what I'm saying? Instead of focusing on the negative, focus on the consciousness, move the fear, but use that to inspire you. Yes? Good.
I would like you to talk about how to let go of that role of victim and see myself as a creator of all my reality.
You know, the thing is, you have to see your hooks. You've got to see the things that automatically make you feel bad for you. And you start to get into this spiral. Om responsibility means that no matter what comes, I am responsible. What am I responsible for? For my response. I have to get to the point where my response is not of a victim, where my response is always coming from love. So how do I get to that point? I have to become the love. Okay, and bit by bit, it's natural. You take responsibility.
I would like you to talk why you gave the name of the facets.
Okay, so I say that each human is like a perfect diamond with many different facets. And we go in and we polish all of those facets. And when we polish them, we all have our own unique light that radiates from those facets. And that's the diamond within, which is our consciousness and our humanity, no? Our gift that we bring. That's why I call them facets.
How can I integrate all those things and judgments that I have with myself?
Just stop. You just have to stop. That's what the facets are for. You know, you're thinking too much. You see something, you change it. But like that. Oh, I'm doing that again. Oh, I'll stop. Facet, facet, facet. You don't have to analyse everything or torture yourself with everything. This is a path of love. But it's not just about not having a judgment. It's about getting to a point where your actions are from love. And then there's no judgment. If there's still something sounds off tune, it's coming from fear or manipulation or whatever other game. So it's about having the consciousness to be loving, to see, to change, and to come back. And not to listen to this little voice. You know, you have to be able to witness it. And use the facets. You know, the facets should be every third thought. You know, every time that you're in a drama, just laugh at yourself. Go, oh, I'm doing it again. Facet, 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 facet. Oh, I'm doing it again. Facet, facet, facet. And just be. Stop trying to fix it. You can't fix anything because you're only fixing your personality. You have to go more into who you are. Oh. Here I am. Here I am. Okay. Okay, I see that. I can change it. Everyone keeps polishing. That's what it's about. Polishing the facets.
I think you just answered because I have problems to let go of the judgments. especially the judgments towards me.
You know, I feel with you it's a place where you're very comfortable. Being the guilty one, the bad one. And you have to let that go. Because it doesn't allow you to shine. You're always walking around this submissive thing, like you're about to get caught. And you've been caught. Now forget it. We all know how bad you were. And just laugh at it. And start changing. And start to feel free. Because you're still like this. You're walking around guilty. And just enjoy yourself. And the judgments, just facet. And laugh at them. But more importantly, just enjoy. You must notice that the reflections are changing. Of course. Because you're opening and you're letting go. Yeah, I feel completely different with you. Because you're healing and you're doing great. Be happy with that. Be happy with that. You don't have to walk around like this. I'm guilty. I did it. Do you want to know what I did? I'm going to tell you. There's not many saints in this room. I wouldn't worry.
I can see how I see through all my life. When something goes with my concept of love, I move forward, and if they don't coincide, I move backwards. And that doesn't allow to experience lots of beautiful things in life because I don't see the love in everything. I want to know how to start seeing more love even in the things I don't understand as love, because my heart understands, but my mind
No,
blocks
actually it's
it.
the opposite. Your heart understands. Your head blocks it. You know, you've got to get to the point where you have no judgments with yourself. I don't even think how I am. I am the love. Sometimes I'm sweet. Sometimes I'm a bitch. I change all the time. And that's my human experience. And it always serves. But I don't judge it. And I don't judge anyone else. Because all humans are like that. All humans have different emotions. Yeah, so it's about healing you. And once you heal that strong aspect of your personality, which you reject, obviously, but it's very apparent, then you'll be able to embrace it externally. Yeah, it's about that. Yeah?
I want to ask you if imagination is part of consciousness, because sometimes I imagine a lot. I imagine things that I do that I would like to do.
You know, it's part of our dream. It's part of the human experience. And we fantasize and we romanticize. And we just need to keep coming back. You know, if we're creating from that situation, like it's our work, or we're an artist, or whatever, we use it all the time. But then it's very important to keep coming back. The thing is, we live in a fantasy. The world is a miracle, but we don't see it. We don't see each moment in its complexities and its beauty and its presence. So we start to create something because we're not seeing what's there. But if you really see what's there, you're already in the miracle. And that's why it's so important to cultivate present moment awareness, because you really start to see the beauty, even in what you used to perceive as mundane. And that way you don't need to keep escaping. And it's also a protection against intimacy. We're always chasing something instead of embracing what's here in this moment and really being present, really present. And that's when the miracles start happening.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.